The Tesla Semi offers something to the trucking industry that could drastically alter the entire freight-moving sector. The trucking industry has seen major changes since it began roughly a century ago and has, despite the assumptions of many outsiders looking in, been one of the more technologically advanced industries in our nation. Trucks themselves have seen huge changes in the past few decades, while the freight industry as a whole has been reinvented and revamped multiple times over in that same time period. Nasdaq.com contributor Martin Tillier mentions the impacts that the Tesla Semi and others with similar game-changing technologies will have on the trucking industry long-term. Most notably with autonomous trucks and their electric powertrains. The technological change that benefits trucking and delivery businesses has been widely reported, but in my experience most people that I ask about it focus on the potential negatives rather than looking for opportunities, writes Tillier. They ignore the biggest beneficiary of all, trucking companies. They are looking at a future where two of their major costs, fuel and drivers, will be dramatically lower. Those salient points are much bigger picture than most commenting on the Tesla Semi and other related vehicles would note. Just about every major manufacturer of commercial vehicles, including Class 8 trucks, is getting in on the electrification game, and many are also building towards automation. The companies most often noted, like Tesla and Nikola, are actually side players compared to the already established heavy-duty builders like PACCAR, Daimler, Volvo, and the like. Even manufacturers like Cummins are working with alternatives to petroleum-burning drivetrains. The stakes are huge. According to the American Trucking Associations, over 70% of the freight moved in the United States is moved by truck. There are about 10.5 billion tons of freight moved around the U.S. annually and about 3.6 million Class 8 trucks on the road pulling that freight. The electrification of trucks is a big step. It won't happen really quickly, but it will happen eventually. How, exactly, that electrification comes will depend on a lot of things. It could be the battery-powered Tesla Semi, or it could be the hydrogen fuel cell-run Toyota Kenworth collaboration. Or any mixture of things, including the range-extending turbine proposed for the original Nikola design or that of Capstone. Whatever the solution or solutions are, freight hauling trucks of all sizes are going to become electric. That's a given. Why? For the same reason they all went to diesel a few decades ago. It's more efficient and thus cheaper. Before diesel, most trucks were powered by gasoline and were extremely inefficient, hauling less weight and getting worse fuel economy. Diesel itself saw many changes over time as the engines it powered improved and emissions fell. Currently, trucks use around 38 billion gallons of diesel fuel a year. At $4 a gallon, that's about $152 billion in fuel. With electricity, costs could be a fraction of diesel. Roughly a quarter of the cost, in fact, in worst-case assumptions. More optimistic numbers would put it in the January 16th to January 8th fractions. The gains with autonomous self-driving or driving assist technology are even higher. In trucking, the highest cost to the trucking company is the driver behind the wheel, with wages and benefits, not to mention legalities and downtime, having the highest impact on the bottom line. A truck driver can legally drive for 11 hours per day, and most drivers average about 600 miles daily. An autonomous truck could drive 24/7, stopping only to load, unload or refuel. Self-driving trucks would also solve a problem that's long plagued the trucking industry: driver shortages. Truck drivers will lose jobs, yes. Eventually. Remember, we're talking decades here, not years. When automated big trucks take over as the bulk of the industry's means of moving freight, most drivers will be required to find new careers. We must remember, however, that truck driving is essentially made up of a labor force which has little formal training and mostly on-the-job experience as their primary resume point. These drivers become more skilled with time and hence demand higher wages. The most skilled workers in truck driving tend also be those closest to retirement. Replacements for those skilled drivers are new drivers who've completed perhaps 3 weeks of trucking school and a month of over-the-road training with a slightly more skilled driver as a mentor. This doesn't make trucking an easy job, but it does mean that those with the most skills are the least likely to lose their jobs when automation becomes the norm. We can argue until our fingers bleed, typing about the feasibility of the Tesla Semi and Elon Musk's promises for the truck's capabilities. Whether Tesla delivers on those promises is moot, as we know that someone, somewhere, and sometime very soon will deliver on similar promises regardless. The trucking industry is going through another sea change. Those in technology, used to a new iPhone every year and to a hashtag about cryptocurrencies, might consider a decade or two as a long time to wait. Those in manufacturing and transportation, however, see 20 years as a single generation, and their version of 2.0 has huge economic impacts on the nation's and world's economies. The trucking industry knows that electrification and automation are coming fast. The Tesla Semi may or may not physically bring that revolution, but it certainly does symbolize it.
A couple of weeks ago, it was Anheuser-Busch who placed an order for 40 Tesla semi-trucks. A week ago, PepsiCo put in an order for 100 semi-trucks. Today, according to Reuters, United Parcel Service, UPS, is giving Tesla its biggest semi-truck order to date for 125 vehicles. At a cost of around $200,000 each, Tesla wants America's transportation companies to switch to electric big rigs that also offer sufficient range and cargo capacity. Tesla realized when developing the Semi it would be competing against diesel trucks, which have proven themselves for years as efficient and generally low-cost carriers. A conventional diesel truck for UPS costs about $120,000, but UPS believes the Tesla semi-truck will have lower ownership costs in the long run. So far Tesla has received $25 million worth of orders for a semi-truck, which isn't due to arrive for a couple of years. Others who've pre-ordered Tesla semis include Walmart, J.B. Hunt Transport Services Incorporated and food service distributor Cisco Corporation. What helped seal the deal for UPS was by giving Tesla some real-world routing information when it was evaluating whether to make the purchase. As with any introductory technology for our fleet, we want to make sure it's in a position to succeed, Scott Filippi, UPS Senior Director for Automotive Maintenance and Engineering for International Operations, told Reuters. Those 125 trucks will enable UPS to make a proper determination of their capabilities, but their future routes, mainly in the U.S., are still being decided.
Customers looking to make the switch to all-electric driving will be interested to hear that the new Nissan Lead 2.0 Launch Edition will be available on finance contracts. The limited run model will be available from £339 per month following a Nissan Center deposit of £1,000 and a customer deposit of £5,138, with a 3-year contract based on a 10,000-mile agreement. Leaf drivers or other Nissan customers who are currently using personal contracts can get a reduced monthly cost of £324 per month and an added £500 deposit contribution from Nissan. Those interested in the 2.0 can also apply for a 7 kWh home charging unit for no extra cost, with it worth up to £859, while existing customers can get an upgrade free of charge. Only 1,500 models of the Europe-only 2.0 will be made and is between the N-Connecta and range-topping Tecna trim levels. That means it comes with 17-inch alloy wheels, suede effect upholstery, automatic air conditioning and a 7-inch infotainment touchscreen with 6-speaker sound system. It also comes with the intelligent around view monitor with object detection and driver alertness system, cruise control and Nissan's ProPilot autonomous technology and e-pedal, which acts as both an accelerator and a way of slowing down. Coming with a quoted range of 235 miles, it is a vast improvement on the previous generation's capabilities, and has better technologies to suit it for the real world. The Leaf 2.0 costs £26,490 including the government's electric vehicle grant reduction, with deliveries beginning at the start of 2018.